What's going on, Saints fans? Welcome into another live edition of Saints Now by Chat Sports. Let's get the comment section popping and give me a hoot at in the comments if you want a shout out. We are now in the audience build-up portion of our live show. We're going to be going through a lot of fun stuff in today's video. I got a full mock draft. I got some free agency buzz. And then, of course, we're going to dive into a mailbag. So use hashtag Saints, or better yet, send in a super chat to get on the program. But let's give some love to everyone in the comment section. I see Alex Cortez showing some love, saying, Trizzy, Trizzy. Nigel Richards saying, what up, Trizzy? What's going on, Nigel? Hope you are doing well, my friend. Thanks so much for tuning in to the program. Who else we got in the chat? We also got Lions, Saints, Eagles, Nations, Althea. We got Nigel still getting the hoot-ats going. I love to see it. Cairo, Daniel, CTM, Jaden, Simply Archive. What's happening? Mike Nintendo Master, Danny Mendoza. What's happening, squad? Keep the hoot-ats going. Why did y'all never talk Clint leaving? I did talk about Clint leaving. I talked about that. So, Arrow VL, if you want to check it out, it's on the channel. It's a couple videos ago. I discussed it. Said it stinks that he's gone, but it doesn't shock me. We got Hoodat from Skiro. We got Jaden. We got Mason, Chef, Seco, Lion, Steve Robinson, Dark Knight. Shout out to all of you. Clay's hanging out. Ricky's hanging out. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you. Mike Nintendo Master says, oh, yeah, you have that funny reaction to Michael Penix's draft. Yeah, that was a terrible draft pick by the Falcons. Well, I mean, terrible, but like they could have gotten it. They just signed a $180 million quarterback, and now they're paying a $180 million quarterback to be a backup. It's hilarious. Anyway, really quick, want to give a shout out to today's presenting sponsors. We got two of them in today's show. So the first one I want to give a shout out to is Game Time. Go download the Game Time app. Check out the Game Time Picks feature so you can get tickets even easier and for better value. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to make it easier to find tickets to your favorite sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater, events, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets by downloading Game Time today. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but once again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Shout out to Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Terms do apply. Download the app. $20 off with code ChatSports. We also got to give a shout out to Prize Picks for making today's show possible. It's now or never because the big game is almost here in New Orleans. So don't miss out on the last football game of the season with Prize Picks. It's the best place to win cash while watching the big game. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. If you download the Prize Picks app, use code CLNS. When you download it, you'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. They're also giving away a free pick for the big game where one of the quarterbacks will only need to throw 1 yard to win. So if you're correct on one or more stat projection, you win real cash. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 off your first, you'll get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. That's CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to Prize Picks. Run your game. All righty. So who do you want to draft in round one? I want a lot of guys in round one. I would love Ted McMillan. I'd love Will Johnson. I'd love Mason Graham. I'd love Abdul Carter. But what about you? I wouldn't mind Ashton Genty. What do you guys think? Who do you guys want in round one? Mike Nintendo fan says, how big of a Saints fan are you? I think I'm the biggest Saints fan that's ever lived. I'm a diehard fan since the day that I was born, or I should say, the day I started watching NFL. I didn't watch NFL football the day I was born, so there is that. I see Malik Starks. I see Ashton Genty, Mason Graham, Will Johnson, Jalen Walker, Malik Starks, Mason and Genty, Will Campbell from Mr. Filmer, Will Johnson, Malik Starks. No idea why y'all are saying Genty, considering how bad our O-line is. Well, you get a better running. Why not? Why Ashton Genty? Well, because Alvin Kamara is not getting any younger. The jury's still out on Kendra Miller, and you don't have a backup running back. So, yeah, go ahead and run it back with Jordan Mims and CEH. Come on, no. Ashton Genty's a great talent. Why would you? It actually infuriates me when fans get pissed off at that idea. That's just stupid. Yeah, that would be a great idea. When you need everything, the best player available is a good pick. So, if you disagree, I'm not that sorry about it. Okay. Here's the thing. If you guys want to get on the show, we're doing a mailbag on the program at the end of the live show. Use hashtag Saints. Better yet, send in a super chat. T. Scott says he likes Mims. Of course, there's always somebody who likes the Fresno State players. All right, use hashtag Saints, or better yet, send in a super chat to ask a question. If you guys want a hot take, if you want to share a hot take, if you guys have a question for me, if you guys have questions that you want me to ask at the Super Bowl, let me know. Get them in. Hashtag Saints. Send in a super chat. If you do send in a super chat, you skip the line. It's like a fast pass at Disney World. And on top of that, we'll show you a little extra love and spend a little bit more time on your question. But mailbag coming up. Get on the show. Hashtag Saints. Better yet, super chat. If you don't get questions in, then we can't do the segment. That's how that is. It is a segment that you guys write. I write multiple videos every day. This one's for y'all to write. You ask questions. You share hot takes. You want Jalen Milroe to be drafted? Use hashtag Saints. Say draft Jalen Milroe. You want the Saints to trade away Chris Olave? Use hashtag Saints. Say trade Chris Olave. You have a question about something? Use hashtag Saints and ask that question. We want y'all to get involved. It's chat sports, not Trizzy sports. So hop on in. Let me know if you guys have questions. Simply Archive says, I got a hot take. We'll Simply Archive. I'm not going to read your hot take unless you use hashtag Saints. That's the deal from now on. I'm not talking whatsoever. I'm not going to answer any questions until the mailbag unless it says hashtag Saints. Just going to say that right now. All righty. If you guys are pumped up for the 2025 NFL Draft, we're going to get this thing going. And, hey, I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think this is going to be a good time. We have some fun content. We're going to first start off with some free agency buzz. Really good news around Chase Young. Some possibly good news around Paulson Adebo and Juwan Johnson. So we'll discuss that. Ricky Baker, I appreciate you asking questions. Easy E6, Destiny, Jerry G, we got you as well. Lions, I can't use that question because you use hashtag Space Saints. That's not how it works. It has to be hashtag Saints. It was literally on screen. If you can't read it on screen, then you might not be getting on the show. I'm not trying to be rude. That's just, black and white. That's how it is, Justin. It either works or it doesn't. That doesn't work. If you want to get on the show, fix it. All righty, we're going to dive in. Let's get this thing going. Justin, whenever you're ready, just give me a thumbs up. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. Coolio. Going to lather the pipes, as they say. All righty. Let's dive on in. Free agency buzz. This one's going to be a fun segment. I need your help, Saints fans. The bosses and we had a meeting recently. They said that they wanted to start a Buccaneers YouTube channel. First of all, I thought that was stupid. I thought that was so dumb because realistically, there's like 8 Buccaneers fans that exist. 90% of their fan base came to be fans because of Tom Brady, so bandwagoners, not real fans. They made a deal with me. If we can get 1,000 comments that say "Who dat" in the chat, then we will not start a Buccaneers channel. So get down in the comment section, type "Who dat." Let's get 1,000 "Who dats" in the comments so that way we don't have to start a Buccaneers channel. I think it would be stupid. I think it would be a waste of time. Help me out, Who Dat Nation. Get active in the comment section. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning in no matter where you are or how you're watching. Let's dive into some free agency buzz because recently ESPN, they put out a list of their top 50 free agents for this year's class. And the New Orleans Saints had 3 players ranked in that list, and there's also some insight from guys like Jeremy Fowler in there. And so we're going to talk about what do the future look like for some of these top-tier players. Now, the top-ranked Saint in free agency, it is Chase Young. He ranked at number 39. And I will say this, around him, I think that he was actually a fairly serviceable player. He had 46 pressures, which was tied for 11th in the league, and then 5.5 sacks. Again, I would have liked to see more production in terms of the sacks. However, I do think that he was a good player, and I think he was really good on the defensive end, opposite of Carl Granderson. The both of them did a phenomenal job of getting pressures. They just needed to hone in and get those sacks, finish off those plays, and turn the pressures into production. But Jeremy Fowler, he has an interesting note around the future of Chase Young, saying he is open to a return to New Orleans, which I think is very exciting news, especially considering the fact that the Saints need pass rush help. Chase Young would be open to return to New Orleans, where he just played out where he just played out a 1-year deal. Though a different defense could generate more sack opportunities for him, he might opt for stability over last year's prove-it deal status coming off a serious neck injury. And if you remember, there was the neck injury stuff. Is he going to play all season? There's all the injury guarantees, all the money stuff. That's all that last year. Next year, in this offseason, I would bring back Chase Young. He was good. I think he was good enough. And to be totally honest, on the defensive line, there is not a lot of hope, like high hope, for Cam Jordan to be a phenomenal, like, top-tier pass rusher once again. Carl Granderson, I think, is good, but, like, I need to see more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want us to have a high-end, very quality pass rusher, and if you don't address it in the draft, or if you go ahead and bring back Chase Young, then you may have that be less of a draft need. So for Chase Young, personally, the contract that I would offer, I think this is totally fair. A 3-year, $30 million contract. You're getting $10 million a season. And then on top of that, you get 25 of that guaranteed, no questions asked. This past year was like the 1-year, $15 million deal, whatever. Like, I will say I don't know if that's necessarily going to be like the value of what he gets. I do think that there's a lot of the number in that $15 million that's like, here's these incentives, and there's these incentives, and these. So, like, there was a lot of, like, things around it, just so you guys know. But I think $10 million a year, 25 over the course of 3 years is fully guaranteed. I think that that's a totally fair deal. And to be honest, I think that that's a good deal for the Saints as well, because it's not like you're over-investing in a player who did give you some decent production, but not like he was absolutely insane. You're not breaking the bank, if you ask me, with this deal. So let me ask you, are you forever young? Would you bring back Chase Young if you were the New Orleans Saints? Just give me a yes or a no down in the comment section. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say, because I think that bringing back Chase Young would be a good idea. It is very exciting to hear that he does want to return, and he's open to returning. But at the end of the day, we'll have to see what happens with the contract. So get down in the comment sections and put on your GM hat for me. Now, Paulson Adebo, he was the second-ranked New Orleans Saint on this list, and he was the 44th ranked prospect. And they even said, had he not broken his femur in week 7, he probably would have been a top 20 free agent in this class. In the career for the New Orleans Saints, he has been really, really good. 10 interceptions, 23 pass breakups. That is phenomenal stuff. And even Jeremy Fowler added this, said multiple teams consider Paulson Adebo a top 3 corner in free agency. You know, that's behind DJ Reed, and then who? Like, I think Paulson Adebo is one of the best corners in free agency. Adebo had no complications from his surgery, which is really, really good news. It did include a rod being placed in the broken bone where it was a clean fracture in order to stabilize it. So with Paulson Adebo, that is really good news. And I do think that he is a player, if I'm signing checks, I would like to see return, although there is the penalty problem. And that's an honest conversation. Let's have it. Like, I don't think that Paulson Adebo is a bad cornerback. Let me make that very, very clear here. You get 23 pass breakups and 10 interceptions over the course of your career as a Saint. Some of that is, there's a yin and yang here. There's pros and cons. With that comes a lot of penalties. I mean, 9 penalties for 106 yards in just 7 games isn't ideal. That being said, he also was extremely productive in terms of turning the ball over and forcing pass breakups. I mean, and the cornerback group, like, I like this cornerback group, and I like it a lot more with Paulson Adebo in the fold. I think in my perfect world, I'd like to see Paulson Adebo, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Alontae Taylor be your top 3 guys, and then bring back Ugo Amadi. Why not? I think that he has been very solid, and he's taken advantage of opportunities as they presented themselves. I definitely am all in on bringing back Paulson Adebo. I think that he has done a good enough job over the course of his career to justify bringing him back to New Orleans. However, I don't want to break the bank on him. I'm totally okay with letting him go and maybe drafting a Will Johnson in the first round. Maybe you address it later on in the draft. I'm okay with that. Like, I also like Rico Payton. Let's see what we have there. I mean, he was pretty damn good this year. So I want to bring back Paulson Adebo. I don't want to break the bank on it. That's just my take. Really quickly, we have another player and then a handful of other guys to discuss because free agency, it's going to be a very big topic of discussion for the Saints. But really quick, got to give a shout out to my favorite ticketing app in the whole wide world. It's Game Time. I've told you all about them before. I'm going to tell you about it again. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks. It basically just filters out the fluff to show you the best value on seats so that way you can make it easier on yourself to find better tickets and better value for tickets to sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater, and everything else. Game Time has a lot of other great features as well, such as all-in pricing. You can also get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy your tickets. That's the seat view feature. And then also, they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but once again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Shout out to Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All the information is in the comments and description of this video. And if you guys ever need help with them, their customer service department is second to none. So download the Game Time app right now. Alrighty, so the last ranked player that actually made the top 50, it is Juwan Johnson, the tight end for the New Orleans Saints. And I know a lot of y'all are not necessarily very high on number 83. But for me, I've always found Juwan Johnson, I've called him at one point in time Mr. Reliable. I've discussed what he's done in the past. But this year, he led the Saints in receiving yards. Like, that says something. What does it say to me? Well, to me, it says there's a lot of injuries, first of all. Secondly, it says that he was pretty reliable. And third of all, it tells me that he did the job when he was asked. I mean, over 500 yards as a tight end. I know he's not a Brock Bowers or a Travis Kelce or, one of these top-tier guys, but, I mean, he's been pretty good. He came up with big-time plays in moments that he needed to. And I will say when it comes down to Juwan Johnson, he's a guy who he did get a lot of yak. He has nice yak ability. 38.7% of his yards this season came after the catch. So for Juwan Johnson, I like him. I do think he was good. I mean, just a little bit ago, 2 seasons ago, half of his catches were either a first down or a touchdown, or over half of them. So they were either finishing or completing drives. Like, Juwan Johnson has been good. But I don't know if I want to bring him back to be my tight end one. And I don't know if I want to pay him a lot of money to be a tight end one. Because I think that Foster Moreau has emerged greatly this season. I mean, not just as a player, but as a leader, too, for the team. And this year, he was one catch away from having the most yards he's ever had as a career high. I mean, he was 7 yards short of tying his career best. He had a lot of big plays. He's become a vocal leader. He's become a key part in the locker room. So for me, I love the idea of just actually kind of promoting Foster Moreau, promoting maybe, and then you do one of these things. You draft Tyler Warren or you draft Harold Fannin, the tight end out of Penn State or the tight end out of Bowling Green. Both of those would be excellent additions to the Saints tight end group that needs a facelift, to be totally honest. And no disrespect whatsoever to Juwan Johnson. I am a fan of his. I like seeing his family's TikToks. I like seeing him succeed on game days. I think he has a beautiful family and everything. But I think that Foster Moreau and Juwan Johnson are very similar players. Foster Moreau, 6'4", 250 pounds. He's 27 years old. Juwan Johnson, 6'4", 231 pounds. He's 28 years old. So they're the same height. Moreau's 20 pounds heavier and a handful of months younger. Again, no disrespect to Juwan Johnson. I just think Foster Moreau is probably the better option. And he's also a true tight end. Juwan Johnson, wide receiver that moved to tight end. But I want you guys to pick one for me. Get down in the comment section. Type JJ or FM for Juwan Johnson or Foster Moreau. Sound off in the comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say because I went Foster Moreau, but I'm interested to see what you guys have to say as well. Now, we do have a handful of other players that were not mentioned by ESPN in their top 50 list, and these are those guys: Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Lucas Patrick, Will Harris, Willie Gay, and Ugo Amadi. I would be down to bring back MVS. I am, no questions asked, I am bringing back Ugo Amadi and Will Harris, though. Like, that is without fail. I need those two players back on the roster. I like the idea of bringing back Willie Gay, too. I think he was fine in rotation. But Lucas Patrick, he had some injury issues. He's getting up there in age. I think I'm okay with bringing him back. But there is A handful of free agents to discuss. We talked 8 different names on today's video. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the show if you haven't already. We're on the road to 41,000. We've done a great job of growing, and that is a credit to y'all at home. So thank you guys so much for helping us grow. On top of that, if you want to help support the show, like the video. It'll help you find our content a little bit easier in the future. And on top of that, get down in the comments. We love to have a conversation with y'all, so y'all stay golden. Hey, we'll see you next time. Booyah. Yeah, I got some super chats. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We'll pop those up here in just a second as our system updates. The weigh-in too, I think, is still on. No, you're good. Arrow. Head coach Kellen Moore, OC Darren Rizzi. Well, he's not an offensive coordinator. He's a special teams coordinator. And a special teams coordinator to OC isn't necessarily like a promotion. And I'll tell you right now, if you want to keep Darren Rizzi, you need to be rooting for Darren Rizzi to be the head coach. Darren Rizzi will not. The Saints will not hire somebody else, and then Darren Rizzi will come back on that same job. He will go somewhere else if he doesn't get the head coaching job. That's just the reality of how this thing works. Dark Knight, $20. $20. Shout out to you, Dark Knight. Do you think Kellen Moore will keep Carr if he's hired as the head coach? Oh, that's a great question. Can we make sure we bring this one into the mailbag? Okay, cool. That's a great question. I don't know. Probably not. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Kellen Moore is going to say, cut him. Let me get to work with Rattler and get this moving. Honestly, that might change. I don't know. That's a great question. That is a great question. Apparently, Kellen Moore has said he would, or not Kellen Moore. Apparently, the Saints front office has said whoever the head coach is going to have a lot of say here. So we'll see what happens. Well, Kellen Moore, I lean no, he would cut Derek Carr so that way he can get some of that money this season in order to use it to build the rest of his roster. That's just my opinion. But Dark Knight, that's a great question. I'm going to think about that. All righty. We're going to do a mock draft next. We're going to have a lot of fun. Justin, I'm going to try and kind of keep churning and burning on this one. So if I'm dragging along a little too long, just push me along, you know? Coolio. All righty. No, you're good. You're good, my man. You are good. All righty. We're doing mock draft coming up. Trace, if you're the owner for the Saints, what would you do? About what? What would I do about what, Jaden? I want Glenn, but he now with the Jets. Yep, Kamirian, he only wanted the Jets job too. What do I think about Donovan Jackson? Dude, I don't know nothing about Donovan Jackson. Who the hell is that? I haven't done enough. The Ohio State guard. Yeah, I haven't paid nearly enough attention to the interior offensive line. Solid play strength, flashes of Moore. Overall, he hasn't quite lived up to the hype as the nation's best guard coming to high school. That being said, there's definitely room to grow. So there's that answer. All righty. Did ours use? We sure this isn't Cam Skattebo? Are you saying I look like Cam Skattebo? You better hang out for this mock draft. Hey, it's a little topic over there. All righty. Justin, whenever you're ready, my man, we can get this party started. Who Dat Nation? Hope you guys are ready for mock draft 2.0. What's going on, Saints fans? If y'all want a shout out, I have an ability to do that for you. All you guys got to do is hit me up on either Instagram, X, or TikTok. I'm active on all 3 platforms. And what I need you to do is DM me proof that you're subscribed to Saints Now on Chat Sports. So just take a screenshot of you with the sub button gray, a screen recording of you clicking the button. I don't care. Just prove that you are subscribed to the show, and I'll give you a shout out on a future video. All right, let's dive into it. Mock Draft 2.0. We're going to dive into this. Just so you guys know, like, the mindset with this one wasn't, yes, Kellen Moore has been hired. The mindset with this one was more, we don't know what's going to happen. We still have needs. So let's address those needs. So in round one, here's how things shook out before the New Orleans Saints picks. Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter all go in the top 3. And then Tet McMillan, Abdul Carter, Will Johnson all go before the New Orleans Saints pick. I'll tell you what, if this draft board falls out like this, that's some pretty big names that the New Orleans Saints have high on their draft list that did not fall to the Saints, unfortunately. However, one big name did. So with the number 9 overall pick, I selected Mason Graham, the defensive tackle out of Michigan. To be totally honest, I love the idea of drafting this prospect. I think he could make an immediate impact to a Saints defensive line that needs a facelift majorly. Mason Graham, he's really good as a bull rusher. He can collapse the pocket. He's very talented, not just as a pass rusher, but on top of that, as a run stopper as well. He's just an overall quality defensive tackle. He can do everything, and he's quick off the ball. He's got a nice combination of athleticism and speed, and he does have the skills to build up more of a pass rush arsenal. And with Mason Graham, he is a player that I think was very productive for Michigan. 45 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. Look, I think that Mason Graham would be an excellent addition to the Saints defensive line. A lot of the pressure from the outsides isn't getting there, but Bryan Bresee on the inside did a phenomenal job of putting pressure up the middle. So sign me the F up. Give me Mason Graham and give me Bryan Bresee, because that duo would be nasty. And not just for 1 or 2 years. That's a duo that you could keep around for the foreseeable future. I love the idea of going ahead and getting Mason Graham and Bryan Bresee. But that's my take. What would you guys have done in round 1? I want you to share your thoughts and let me know. In round 2, I went ahead and flipped over from defense. I went to offense. Let's go ahead and draft Cam Skattebo in round 2. Yep, I did it. I pulled the trigger. Round 2, number 40 overall. I'm taking the bowling ball out of Arizona State. I'll tell you what, Cam Skattebo is one of my favorite players that I have ever watched play the running back position in college football. He is a battering ram. He has quick agility. He has very impressive lateral quickness. And on top of that, he is a north and south runner that has no problems getting east and west to create more space. The measurables are nice, but the production is absolutely tremendous. Almost 1,400 rushing yards, 19 total touchdowns, almost 500 yards in the air. Cam Skattebo, ladies and gentlemen, would be an excellent draft pick. If you don't want a running back, that is A-okay. But I'm here to tell you, this right here is a phenomenal pick. If you disagree, I'm here to tell you, you do not know ball. Because if you go ahead and add Kellen Moore to this team as your head coach, holy shit. Yeah, give him a running back. Whether it's round 1 with Ashton Jeanty, probably not the best idea. But round 2 with Cam Skattebo, hell yeah. I think that would be such a good idea. He's a physical runner. I think that if you give him the ability to learn behind Alvin Kamara as well, it is beneficial. And people are going to sit here and say, Trizzy, why are running backs so early? Well, Alvin Kamara is not getting any younger. He just came off the best season of his career, for the record, but he's not getting any younger. So at some point, you got to replace him. Maybe not next year, but at some point. Jamal Williams will not be a part of this team for the foreseeable future. That's just the truth. Kendre Miller, I'm a fan of his. Jury's still out. We don't know if he can stay healthy. So, in my eyes, running back's in need. And Cam Skattebo is my guy. Now, I want the New Orleans Saints to nail this draft. They have to. They have no choice but to absolutely perfect it. Otherwise, we are in a downward spiral. So, please do not take any chances. Don't jinx it. If you agree with me when I say I want the Saints to crush this NFL draft, hit the thumbs up icon and like today's video. Alrighty, round 3. We're staying offense. This one might ruffle some feathers in a good way. How about Harold Fannin? The tight end out of Bowling Green? I mean, dude, this guy is a freak. This guy is an absolute monster. I just cannot sit here and say enough how badly this would be a good pick. Because I think if you went to go and get Tyler Warren in round 1, that would be a good selection. However, at 9, I do think it's a little bit of a reach. But Harold Fannin, who, let's call it real, he is the best tight end in all of college football. He did not win the Mackey Award. That went to Tyler Warren, but Harold Fannin was a smaller school. He had more yards. He had more receptions. For the record, he led college football entirely with receiving yards and receptions. Second in receiving yards was Nick Nash, the San Jose wide receiver, who had 1,382 yards. That's pretty cool. Tyler Warren, he was second in receptions with the tight end out of Penn State. And it wasn't necessarily that close either. Harold Fannin, he can do it all. He's a reliable blocker. Not amazing, but definitely reliable. He is a phenomenal pass catcher. He is lethal with the ball in his hands. He's great after the catch. He's extremely high functioning. And look at the production. Guys, these are not typos here. He averaged 13.3 yards per catch. Last year, he had averaged 14.2 yards per catch. He has had 5 rushing touchdowns in his career. This is a very special player. This is a guy who will make some team a lot of money. And I would like that team to be the New Orleans Saints. I think Harold Fannin would be an excellent pick. If you're with me, hit the thumbs up icon right now. Really quick, we got a lot more picks. We're only in round 3. We still got a lot more selections to go. Got to give a shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports app in the whole wide world. The big game in New Orleans is almost here, so you know what that means. It's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks if you use our code CLNS when you download the Prize Picks app. You'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for the big game where Patrick Mahomes, half a passing yard. He's got to get one. That's going to happen. You combine that with another selection, and you can win some real cash in real time. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS on the Prize Picks app when you download it today. The information is in the comments and description of this video. I appreciate everyone who downloads the Prize Pick app. Make yourself some money in real time. Have some fun with Prize Picks. It enhances and makes your game viewing experience so much better. Shout out to Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, staying in round 3, because the Saints actually have 2 third-round picks, in case you didn't know. Let's go Tate Ratledge, the guard out of Georgia. We're addressing the offensive line now. So we've done defensive line. We've done running back. We've done 2 weapons. We've done 2 trench players now. I like the idea of Tate Ratledge. I think that he could be a good fit at number 93 overall, especially. I think that's good value. He was a 3-year starter for the Georgia Bulldogs, so that tells me that Kirby Smart viewed him as a reliable, and he tells me that Kirby Smart trusted him early in his career. Excuse me, I had to take a quick sip of water. Sorry, guys. He's only played right guard throughout his career, so there is a little bit of limitations and there is a little bit of concern in terms of how versatile he is and where all he can line up across the field, or on the line, excuse me. But he does have a nice, dense build. He has really good play strength, and for an offensive guard at this level in his career, he has a very high football IQ, which directly will translate to the next level. And on top of that, you can see it right here. He has a very good anchor. He's sturdy. He's physical. He's smart. He's also got a killer mustache and mullet combo. I mean, that mullet stash combo. Look at it right here. We got another picture we'll show you here in just a second. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. That rocks. You're telling me you don't love that? I want all that. I mean, this right here has Hall of Fame O-lineman written all over him. That is a Hall of Famer if I've ever seen one. So, yeah, sign me up. For the record, I'm all in on the mullet stash combo because my little brother, I'm a proud big brother, he in his high school football team, they all rocked mullets and mustaches throughout their senior year. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. That was the best offensive line I've ever seen in my entire life. So let's recreate it here in the black and gold. Kind of having fun, but yeah, no, seriously, guys who look like that definitely deserve to be in Canton. All righty, round 4. 110 overall. I'm going to go to the edge rusher position because we've done defensive tackle. We've done defensive interior. So we've done defensive interior. We've done offensive interior. Let's go get the exterior addressed. Tyler Barron, the edge rusher out of Miami. Now, he is a guy throughout his career, he has experience in the SEC and in the ACC. He played at Tennessee for some time, and then he transferred over to Miami and was able to get high-level experience in another Power 5 conference. And Miami was a good team this past season. Yeah, the production's pretty good. 38 tackles, 5.5 sacks. He gets to the backfield quite often, which is really good to see. And he does have a high upside skill set. I will say he is a little bit possibly more of a situational pass rusher, but that doesn't mean he can't develop and he can't grow and turn into a truly every down pass rusher. So we'll have to see what happens with Tyler Barron. But my point being with the edge rusher position, Cam Jordan's not getting any younger. I don't know if Chase Young comes back. Carl Granderson, sure. Then who else? Isaiah Foskey? No. You need another edge rusher. So let's go and get another guy like Tyler Barron. And the other one that I think would be a good idea is if you don't go defensive tackle in round one, maybe go edge rusher round one. Just depends on how the board falls. We'll have to see, but I do think edge rusher is a big need for the New Orleans Saints. Now, friendly reminder to subscribe to the channel. We've been doing a lot of head coaching videos recently. Once this decision is finally made, we will be giving y'all a ton of draft and free agency coverage. And we're also going to be going live for the draft. I'm also going to be in Indianapolis for the NFL Scouting Combine. So if you want exclusive videos and exclusive coverage, hit your boy up, subscribe to the channel, and lock us in today. All right, you have 2 fourth-round picks. So let's go to the next one. Shamar Turner at number 129 overall, the defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. Sign me up. Now, it is worth noting, at the Senior Bowl, he was supposed to be a participant, but he did have to withdraw his name due to a stress fracture in his leg that he suffered earlier on. I will say, obviously, it stinks that it had the setback, but look, at this point in the draft, he is a high upside guy. You get him healthy, life is very, very good. His athleticism is incredibly off the charts, and it's very impressive, especially considering his 6'4", 285-pound frame. You see the production on your screen. It's pretty underwhelming when you look at it, but what if I told you he didn't play his entire season because he had a leg injury? Makes it look a little bit better, if you ask me. So I think Shamar Turner would be an excellent pick in round 4. You have a great opportunity in the first, 6 picks? That's 6 picks right there? That's 6? You have 6 picks in the first 4 rounds. That is unbelievable. Yeah, do a good job there. Figure it out. Like that, there's just no reason to not take the top 150 picks very seriously. So capitalize, make good choices, and draft smart players. All right, let's go to round 6. No 5th-round pick, obviously. The Saints sent that away to the Commanders whenever they traded Marshawn Lattimore. They can obviously get it back, but in the 6th round, 184, he was on the board. I've said I don't want a quarterback unless it's in the 6th round, so F it. Jackson Dart at 184 overall. I don't think that Jackson Dart's a bad player by any means. He led the SEC in passing yards, and he led the SEC also in completion percentage, so that's something that, to me, that says he knows how to succeed against high-level competition. That being said, I want to see more from him. And it felt like there was some things left on the table for Jackson Dart. His production's very good, though. The 29 touchdowns, to 6 interceptions. It's pretty solid. Over 4,000 yards this year. He also is really solid when it comes to extending plays, and I think that that's something the Saints are missing. Spencer Rattler does have a good ability to do that, but Jackson Dart also has the ability to do that. And if you can go ahead and just try it out, I would rather have Jackson Dart than Jake Haener. In my eyes, I'm in the camp of every year until you know for a fact you got your guy, bring another quarterback. Whether it's another veteran just to add some depth or it's another draft guy to see what you got. In my eyes, I think either A, you cut Derek Carr or you keep him and restructure him, and then you roll with Jackson Dart and Spencer Rattler as your backups. Or B, I don't like this scenario, but you go Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener, Jackson Dart, battle it out for QB2. I don't know. I don't love that idea, but I will say with Jackson Dart, he is a player who I think could add some playmaking ability, and especially if you combine it with Kellen Moore, honestly, it might not be a bad little duo there. But I want to ask you, not Jackson Dart specifically, would you just draft a quarterback whatsoever? For the love of God, I am not at all on board with drafting Jalen Milroe in the 2nd round. I am not on board with drafting Jalen Milroe unless it's in the 6th round, for the record. I do not think he's good at football. I would not ever draft Jalen Milroe. But maybe Jackson Dart. Maybe a Quinn Ewers. Maybe one of these other guys. Like Cam Ward was available or Shedeur Sanders. Hell yeah, I'd do that. But that's not the case. But if you would draft a quarterback, just type draft. If you wouldn't, type pass. All right, just a couple more picks to run through. Shiloh Sanders, I went with him in the 6th round at number 205 overall. I do think that safety is a need for the New Orleans Saints. It's not a major need, but it is something to address and add to as we continue to revamp this roster, quite frankly. I mean, Jordan Howden is a nice young player, but if you don't bring back Will Harris, you do have a need, especially if you don't bring back Will Harris. I mean, he is undersized for the NFL. Like, I don't want to say Shiloh Sanders is going to be a bad player, but he is fighting an uphill battle. He does, however, have very good ball skills, and he's not afraid to tackle. He's not afraid of contact. He's going to get involved in the box, and I think that that is something that is very valuable. However, there is an injury history. He had a torn ACL at one point in his career, and, you know, there is work that needs to be done. But in the 6th round, I'm okay with that. I think he's a resilient player, and I think that he's a guy that, at the end of the day, would make a big impact on the New Orleans Saints. All righty. I kind of got a little wild here. I went another running back. Why not Rocket Sanders? 7th round. Do they make the roster? Maybe. Do they not? Maybe. It's the 7th round, though. Who gives a damn? He's a good player. I watched him absolutely sauce it up at the University of Arkansas. Then he transfers over to South Carolina, and he continues to have a really, really good campaign. I mean, Rocket Sanders is a freaking brick wall. That's just quite frankly what he is. He's a brick wall. I mean, like story time here, I'm going to let you read this on your own. Story time, just so you guys can listen. When I was in college, I went to the University of Arkansas. That's no news. That's not any new information for y'all. Sam Pittman at one point in time was asked, hey, it looks like Rocket Sanders, he's putting on some weight. It looks like he's bulking up a little bit. Is he going to lose some of that in order to get a little bit quicker and get a little faster? And Sam Pittman literally said, no, because if he lost any more weight, he's shedding muscle, and we don't want to do that. This guy is built like Derrick Henry in terms of stocky, impossible to tackle, very strong, very wide frame, and he has incredibly surprising agility. He can receive pretty well. He can run very well. He is a physical guy, especially in the red zone, would be lethal for the New Orleans Saints. So come on. 3-headed monster of Alvin Kamara, Cam Skattebo, Rocket Sanders. Yeah, that's awesome. Again, you don't know what you got in Kendre Miller. He can't stay on the field. I'm a Kendre fan, but he can't stay on the field. Jamal Williams will not be on the team. So right now, you have one running back on the roster that's worth a shit, and that's Alvin Kamara. So you got to add running backs. Round 7. And also, we saw what Saquon Barkley has done for the Eagles. I don't want to hear a word about how running back isn't an important position. That's my TED Talk. Alrighty, round 7, I went with Jimmy Horn, the wide receiver out of Colorado. I just wanted to add another pass catcher. I'm tired of the wide receiver group in the New Orleans Saints just being a joke, quite frankly. Too many times I've seen the Saints have massive injury problems at the wide receiver group, and they can't necessarily fix it because there's all sorts of lack of depth issues. Alrighty, so let's recap it. Here's the full mock draft. We went Mason Graham, Cam Skattebo, Harold Fannin to round out my top 3 picks. And in the top 100, you add in Tate Ratledge. But then we also brought in Jackson Dart in round 6. 2 running backs overall. Maybe I got a little bit out carried away. But, hey, can you blame a kid for wanting a guy who went to his former school? Hey, I'm a Razorback. Raheem Sanders is a Razorback. Can't blame me too much. But all in all, I think this is a pretty solid mock draft. PFF, they gave me a B+. What do you guys think? I wanted you guys to get down in the comments section, A, B, C, D, or F. Share your thoughts, and y'all stay golden. We will see you next time. All righty. Would you draft a quarterback this year? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. All right. All right. All right. All right. Oh, you're good. You're good. So I'm seeing a lot of A's and B's. I appreciate that. B from Courtney, A from Mr. Filmer. I like that mock draft. I think that was a good one. Draft, but I still believe in Rattler. Draft from Darius. Pass from Donovan. It's not worth it this year. B from Jamie. I also gave you a B plus from your comment. Hey, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Really quick, I'm just gonna do a quick little scavenge here. I don't see any updates around. Yep, nothing new around Kellen Moore or anything. Alrighty. Your comment says you got me excited. Your comment says I want to see some Raheem film. Dude, look up Rocket Sanders. He's a freak. He's a freak. Alrighty, Quinn Courtney says Justin Fields at quarterback with Tyler Warren, Taysom Hill, and Cam Skattebo. Sheesh. That is nasty. I like that, Quinn Courtney. Can we make sure we put that one in the mailbag as well? Yeah. We can run through any of the super chats that we've gotten up to this point as well in the mailbag. If it, like as well, just to have more questions and stuff. Cool. Alrighty. We're gonna dive into a mailbag next. If you haven't already, use hashtag Saints. Better yet, send in a super chat. You'll skip the line, and we'll spend a little bit more time on your question. We cannot do this content unless you guys ask questions. So I'm asking you, I'm begging you, hashtag Saints, share a hot take, ask a question, draft idea, trade idea, whatever. Ask about my personal life. I don't really give a damn. I'm an open book. So let me know. Let me know. Caden Prather. I mean, shoot, man. 6'1", 218. I don't hate that. $56 receptions, 624 yards, 4 touchdowns, 11 yards per catch. Not bad. He was at Maryland or at West Virginia first. Is it this one? Oh, Nico! What up, man? Nico! Dude, it's been a while. Actually, fun fact, Nico. Maddie and I had a little date night the other day, and we were talking about you. We were wondering how you and your baby girl and your wife were doing. We were hoping y'all had a great holiday season and everything. It's been, we were just chopping it up and chatting about you. CTM! My first time super chatter! All right, we'll dive into that here in a moment. What up, Nico? What up, gang? Shout out to you, brother. I appreciate your super chat. Cratage says, is asking a question. Use hashtag Saints. I'm going to tell you right now, unless you super chat or use hashtag Saints, I'm not going to answer any questions that are in the live chat. So if you want your question answered, hashtag Saints or send in a super chat. Hashtag Saints is free. It's totally fun to do the free version. But if you do want to spend a little bit of money, we will skip the line. You will skip the line, and we'll spend a little more time on your question. Nico says, we're doing great. The fan keeping me busy as hell. Hey, that's good, man. I love to hear that. Doing great. That makes me so happy. Hey, man. Nico, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm going to be out in the Super Bowl for the week, next week, doing like media stuff and all that. So, Nico, I'll send you some pics and whatnot. Tell your wife and your baby girl I said hello and give them a big old hoot at for me. Alrighty. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Cratage, appreciate that question. We're going to dive on in. Justin, whenever you're ready, my friend, let's shoot for this segment. I have it at the bottom. We're shooting for 12 to 15 minutes. If it has to be shorter, that's totally fine. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. But like whenever we get to 15, just like I'd probably wrap it up unless there's some really good questions or something. Alrighty, let's run it. Mailbag coming up. Let's talk about it. You have questions, I have answers. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. Today's video is a mailbag where we're answering questions from our subscribers as a part of our weekly live shows every single Wednesday. So if you want to get your questions in the future, ask them right now in this video or hang out, tune in, and join us on our weekly live shows every Wednesday around 4 p.m. Central Time. Really quick programming reminder, I want to let you guys know we are going to be in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. I am going to be in New Orleans for the Super Bowl doing media. I'm going to be on Radio Row doing media content. We got passes and all that good stuff. I'm going to be going around Canal Street and Bourbon doing street interviews. So if you guys are out there, hit your boy up. But if you guys have any recommendations for the Chat Sports crew, we got a bunch of Yankees, a bunch of guys from Philly, some guys from Kansas that have never been to New Orleans. So I want to make sure we show them a good time. Drop some recommendations for the Chat Sports squad down in the comments. All righty, $20 super chat from Dark Knight. Do you think Kellen Moore will keep Carr if he's hired as the head coach? So this is a tough one because I think you can justify either answer, but I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to say he cuts him. And why? Because Kellen Moore is not tied to Derek Carr. Dennis Allen is tied to Derek Carr. There's no allegiance between Kellen Moore and no loyalty from Moore to Carr. And on top of that, if you cut Derek Carr, make him a post-June 1 cut, you save $30 million that you can spend in order to help improve the roster for Kellen Moore in his first year. So I think that he would opt to cut Derek Carr, see what happens with Spencer Rattler, and if it doesn't work, the next year you're drafting a quarterback. Quinn Courtney! What's going on, girl? Justin Fields at quarterback with Tyler Warren, Taysom Hill, and Cam. I'm going to assume Cam Skattebo, the Arizona State running back. I like that. I think that's a good little duo right there. Or there's a quattro. It's a good quattro. Justin Fields, Tyler Warren, Taysom Hill, and Cam. A quintuple, a quadruple. I don't know. This is a good group. That's what we're trying to get at. Me and Justin, we can't figure it out. All righty, Patrick, what's going on, man? Got a question. Have you seen the? Oh God. Yeah, from ML Football. I'll tell you what. No, I would never actually trade Chris Olave. I personally would not. I don't think he wants to get traded. He has actually said that he is in very good spirits, and he's very happy, and he's eager to get back to work, with the Saints specifically. No, I wouldn't trade Chris Olave. I don't care how bad your team is. You don't trade blue-chip players like a talented wide receiver such as Chris Olave. I think that he is a great player. I think you got to keep him around. At least until you have a better option. And if you get rid of your best receiver, you're asking for problems. I'll ask you, though, would you trade Chris Olave? I hope a lot of y'all say pass, because I personally would not. Somebody in the comment section of our live show is asking, Trace, are you from New Orleans? No, I am not. I'm just a diehard Saints fan. I have family from right outside of Slidell, though. That being said, I grew up in the Dallas area. I've never claimed to be from New Orleans, never claimed to be from Louisiana. I'm just a diehard fan. I'm covering my favorite team for my job, so can't blame me. CTM, who should be our new OC? I don't know, man, because it's going to depend on who gets hired. Like Kellen Moore is going to be Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is going to be more than likely named the head coach. Some names to maybe keep an eye on. Brian Johnson, I believe he's the Eagles quarterbacks coach. Eric Bieniemy maybe. But Kellen Moore is going to be calling the plays. So the offensive coordinator here, it's not that it's not as important, but like think of it as like who's the DC for Dennis Allen. Like Dennis Allen was calling all the defense. Like Joe Woods wasn't actually really calling plays. He was just kind of there as a support role. So yeah, I don't think that the OC is as important as it was last year because we're hiring more than likely an offensive-minded coach. Cairo, this Kellen Moore with Ashton Jeanty, Taysom Hill, and okay. So you're taking Quinn Courtney's and you're just skewing it a little bit here. So instead of Tyler Warren, you're going Harold Fanning. I like Harold Fanning. 1,500 total yards this year, 10 touchdowns. He averaged 13 yards per catch this year and 14 yards per catch last year. Ashton Jeanty, I think that pairing him with Kellen Moore would be a great idea. I'm not the only one who thinks that. I've talked about it. Ross Jackson's talked about it. Ross Jackson said, hey, Trizzy Trace had that idea. We're both geniuses and we're both crazy enough to do it. Like, Ashton Jeanty is a phenomenal, generational talent. I would love to see what a quality, great running back can do with Kellen Moore, because look what he did with Saquon Barkley. Look what he's done with Ezekiel Elliott. I know Alvin Kamara is a great running back. That's not me taking any away from AK. That's more so me saying AK is not going to be playing high-level football in 6 or 7 years. You're going to have somebody do that in 6 or 7 years. And if Kellen Moore's your head coach, why not go ahead and just pair your head coach and your running back now? I think it's a nice little duo there. Really fast, we got more questions to get to, but I want to give a big-time shout-out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is the best ticketing app on the market. That's Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Use code CHATSPORTS. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. The Game Time is absolutely amazing. They have a lot of great features, but the best one is the Game Time picks. They filter out the fluff to show you only great seats and to make it easier to find better value for tickets to sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Game Time has other great features such as all-in pricing, seat views, the lowest price guarantee, and Game Time ticket coverage, which means your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. I have had to use the customer service hotline for Game Time. They could not have been more helpful. They were quick. They were efficient. They communicated very well. I absolutely cannot endorse Game Time enough, and I can't emphasize how badly you guys need to download the Game Time app. If you guys want to get tickets to the big game here in New Orleans, you want to get tickets to Jazz Fest, Shaq's Funhouse is coming up. There's all sorts of great events going on around the Gulf Coast region. Download the Game Time app. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but once again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Shout out to Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Alrighty, John. Can we go D-line or wide receiver if T-Mac is there in the first round? Okay. Can we go D-line or wide receiver? So if you're saying if T-Mac is there in round one, are you asking would I go wide receiver or D-line? If T-Mac's there, I'm taking Tetairoa McMillan, because that means to me Mason Graham and Abdul Carter and the other top defensive linemen are off the board. I would go T-Mac in this situation, and I am all for drafting Cam Skattebo in round 2. Carter Johnson, oh boy, a lot of trade rumors today. I saw Tyrann Mathieu trade rumors. Is the Honey Badger gone? Carter, I also did see an article from Bleacher Report. They're like, well, Tyrann Mathieu's still playing at a very high level, and he hasn't taken a dip in his talent, and yada, yada, yada. And, to a certain extent, I agree, but, there's definitely been some tackling issues with Tyrann Mathieu. You can definitely tell he's not as quick as he used to be. It's not me hating on him. That's just me saying he is not as athletic as he was 6 or 7 years ago, and those are facts. I'm a big fan of Tyrann Mathieu. I don't want to lose Tyrann Mathieu. I think he is a key part of this team. I don't think that they trade him, though. But this was the Bleacher Report trade idea. They said Tyrann Mathieu for a 5th-round pick. The Saints don't have a 5th-round selection right now. You have 10 picks. Without that, you add an 11th selection if you do this trade. So with that in mind, what would you do? Accept or decline this trade idea? I'm going to still decline it. I like Tyrann Mathieu as a leader. And honestly, he doesn't want to go anywhere else. He wants to be a Saint. He wants to retire a Saint. And, I know that it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows recently, but I feel like for that regard, we got to have something to root for. Let's see Tyrann Mathieu and some of these legends just go ahead and hang them up as New Orleans Saints. Jaden, one of our legends here on the channel. Appreciate you for always tuning in, Jaden. If you are the owner of the Saints, what would you do with quarterback, defensive coordinator, and who do you want at DC? Man, that's a tough one. See, this is why I wanted to, everyone's like, why would you want to, you're so stupid, Trace. You don't know ball. Why would you want to rush your hiring? Why would you want to go, take your time. You're the only team. Take your freaking time. Well, because all of the coordinators that are worth a shit are gone. Maybe you could get is it Vic Fangio? Yeah, Vic Fangio. He's over in Philadelphia. Maybe you could get him to come to New Orleans. That'd be pretty cool. Is Vic Fangio in Philadelphia? Hold on. Yeah, he is. He's the defensive coordinator. I was like, wait, the Broncos? No, brain fart. He was the Broncos before that. Yeah, I'd be down to bring in Vic Fangio. There's other defensive coordinators. I can't really think of another one. What would I do with quarterback Derek Carr? I would go ahead and cut him. I'm tired of being in the red with cap space. I'm just kind of in the camp of, you already fired the head coach. You might as well fire the quarterback too. Like, you didn't have any ties to Derek Carr until Dennis Allen was the head coach. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. I'm cool with it. Alrighty, from Ricky, would you draft a center to be under Eric McCoy? No, honestly, no. I think that Eric McCoy, I mean, he is one of the best centers in the league. That is a fact. But I also think Eric McCoy's injuries were kind of a fluke this year. Like, he had never really had injury issues this bad ever. I can understand why you might want to draft a center, but I also thought that whenever, I believe it was Shane Lemieux who filled in, I thought he was okay when he filled in. Like, I didn't think it was like a drastic, horrible, terrible center. But I will say, I think that there's bigger needs on the offensive line. Like, across the O-line, of all 5 positions, center is the least of the needs. Hunter, what do you think about getting Quinn Ewers if he's available? What round, Hunter? What round? That's a big key for me because I'm not doing it in round 3. I'm certainly not doing it in round 4. If you trade back into 5, maybe, but probably not. Okay. I have been consistent with my take. I'm not drafting a quarterback unless it's in the 6th round. I'm going to stay consistent there. I'm not drafting a quarterback unless it's 6th round. So if Quinn Ewers falls to the 6th, sure. We don't have a 5th round pick. Otherwise, I'd say maybe the 5th, but we don't have a 5th round pick. So if he's there in 6th, sure, maybe, probably. But no, I'm good. Would Jackson? Oh, this is a good one. Would Zach Bond come back to the Saints? Look, I don't think anyone had on their bingo card the year that Zach Bond had. I mean, he was a historic player this year. The Eagles used him in coverage the same way the Saints did, and he was just much better. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the scheme. I don't know if it was the coaching. I don't know if it was the motivation. I don't know. But he seemed to have found himself a good little role. He seems to have cashed himself in a lot of money this offseason. And to be honest, like, why would you want to come back to the Saints? Like, if you're in Zach Bond's shoes, I mean, for the better part of a couple years, Saints fans were just dogging on you nonstop. So, you know, maybe this is a lesson in the regards of, if a player has a bad year and then he has a good year, maybe we should stop shitting on players left and right just because we're upset. They're upset too. It's a different discussion, but I mean, I would love Zach Bond to come back, but why the hell would he want to come back here? Like, no, he's earned himself a lot of money, and quite frankly, the Saints can't afford to bring him back, which is crazy to say out loud. Simply Archive. Cut or trade Carr and give Rattler a chance to see what he really has with some decent weapons. See, here's the thing about trading Carr. No, because if you trade him pre-June 1st, you're actually losing money, which is stupid. If you trade him post-June 1st, you save $40 million. But when's the NFL draft? Justin, the NFL draft, is it before or after June? It's in April? So before June? Okay. So, yeah, you won't even be able to get those draft picks till next year. Like, no, we're not going to draft, or you're not going to trade Derek Carr. Cut him. Sure. Other than that, like, I just want to explain why you can't trade Derek Carr. I'm all down to cut him. Go ahead and shed that money, and let's just get this stuff figured out sooner rather than later. Mr. Filmer, not on the Saints, but are you coming before February 5th for the Super Bowl? I'm performing at the Soulful Celebration Super Bowl. Oh, dude, that's sick, man. Yeah, so I cannot remember what day we're coming out. I cannot remember what day we're driving out there. I want to say we're driving out Sunday of Super Bowl week, and then we'll be there through Friday. So I'll be there for a good chunk of the week. I can't remember what day it is off the top of my head, and I can't remember the dates exactly. But if we're there, Mr. Filmer, I will not miss this. I would love to come and support you and see how you play. And also, on top of that, you support me, so just want to do that. But guys, thank y'all so much for tuning into our mailbag. I really appreciate y'all for hanging out with us, asking some really good questions, sharing some hot takes. Y'all stay golden. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. All righty. Man, I am tired of talking. I started getting to a point where I was like, I can't even like. Blah, 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 blah. It was like Porky Pig when he's like, biddy, 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 biddy. Like that was literally me. That was literally me for like 2 minutes there. Couldn't fucking talk. I mean, couldn't talk. Alrighty. Would you trade Chris Olave? Trade or pass? Get in the comment section. Guys, we had a lot of fun today. We can't stick around and do shot clock. I have to go pick up Maddie from the airport. She's flying back from a photo shoot, so I got to go and pick her up because she's been grinding. She's been working hard, and her job has been taken off in freelance. So I got to go pick her up. Got to go be a supportive boyfriend. But Who Dat Nation, I really do appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Y'all are absolute legends. Y'all stay golden. Everyone, really quick, also, this was Justin Honore's first ever live Saints show, so just got to give him a big-time shout-out. Justin, you freaking crushed it. The Saints fans absolutely appreciate you too, man. Y'all stay golden. I love you guys. Videos coming at you throughout the week and the weekend. Y'all stay golden. I think I've said that before. Peace.